Welcome, everyone, to the Obtuse Angles Podcast with Kyle and Jeremy. Kyle Fields, former indie worker, current stand-up comedian, podcaster, by God, radio broadcaster. Jeremy, bam, bam, boom, boom, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Iron Mike, the professor, the southern dandy, flyboy, the golden child. 10 minutes on other side of putting a ham in the smokehouse, Stacko Lee's Sutherland. Also a comedian, a podcaster, an IT man to the Daniel Stars. Peek behind the curtain. We started recording about 20 minutes of an episode. We actually did some research on it. It was going to be 2020 cold cases that were finally solved. The episode sucked. It sucked balls. So we stopped recording. We hit delete. Now, in honor of the fact that by the time you're hearing this, I've actually, I'm going to be married. Yeah, or maybe I've already been married. I said, you know what? Let's call it in the fly, kid. Let's walk and talk. Let's do it in the ring. I just Googled wedding day tragedies. Jeremiah, what's going on?
Oh, man, I'm so excited for you. I get all emotional, and I just go a big rubbery one when I think about weddings and the people I love and care about getting married. And it's not you. I'm not going to be able to make yours. I don't know if I told you.
Oh, no, I assumed that you weren't going to be there anyway. Honestly, probably if we had our wedding at the end of your driveway, you'd find a reason not to show up. I don't know. You'd be, oh, man.
But look, man, it's not you. It's just that I don't like to do stuff.
No, it's definitely you. No, it's definitely you. I know it's not me.
I don't like to do stuff. I mean, if you want to have a fucking wedding, you want me to go to it, come here and get married in my house.
I get it. Hey, look, I had a dad who wasn't there too, so I can justify anything. I mean, I'm kidding. Here's my deal, though, Jeremy, is that I thought to ourselves, look, we're always busting everybody else's balls. When you got your surgery, remember, we had the episode right before that called Medical Procedures Gone Horribly Wrong. So why not? Why not turn the tables on me? You can go back and check out that episode, by the way, and all the other hashtag Evergreen Man episodes of this shizzo at obtuseangles.libsyn.com, man. Don't forget, we are marching towards episode 300. Only a couple more left before we get there. So if there's something that you'd like to hear us do, odds are we've already done it. obtuseangles.libsyn.com. You can listen anywhere, but that Obtuse Angles website has that search bar. You go up there, type in a year between 1993 and 2005. Boom. We've done a whole episode on the pop culture of that year. Type in a serial killer. We've done a ton of those. We've done movies, music, video games, pro wrestling, so much more on that website. And now, we're going to be doing me getting a little bit of my own medicine. Let's just start off this list really quickly, Jeremy, because I haven't looked at it. So this really is going to be riffing on the fly. Kim Jotstrom, a Florida teacher, had been planning for her wedding to look like a version of my big fat Greek wedding. Oh my goodness. I can't. Oh, I love the sound of absolute disgust coming out of you. However, she didn't have the fairy tale ending that she and her guests had imagined, Jeremy, because less than 1 hour after she married her husband, Teddy, she died in his arms during their first dance. Jesus Christ!
Look, I don't want to say she deserves it, but fucking my big fat Greek wedding, really? Fucking, you can't come up with something like you can't be original.
That is the most basic bitch. I look, and God rest her soul. I mean, I'm sure she was a wonderful person. But that is the most... You're going to have a... And all of her fucking friends and relatives who were there were like, this is the tackiest goddamn thing. Oh, yeah, Kim, it's great.
She had it in a mall atrium.
She had been a diabetic since childhood, and she died from heart disease. God, during the first dance... I'll say this, though, and obviously it's a tragedy for both her and her husband, but can you imagine the pussy her husband got after this? Oh my God. Talk about the story. The story of stories. Yeah, my wife died in my arms during our first dance. Oh my God.
That's a license to print pussy, isn't it? let me ask you a question. Are there going to be children at your wedding this weekend?
A couple, yeah. Why? Can you not legally be around them? Why are you asking?
No, I can if they're not related to me. No, No, I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. No, I ask because children are fucking stupid, and they will ruin your wedding. They'll ruin your wedding. They don't even give a shit. I went to my buddy's wedding, man. He got this. I gotta be careful because I don't think he knows that I feel this way, but I guess he's gonna find out now. He paid for this beachside place, man, in the Chesapeake Bay in Virginia. You remember last year the girlfriend and I drove out there and spent the weekend and stayed in this sleepy little like sea shanty motel right there on the Chesapeake Bay. He just threw thousands and thousands and thousands at this wedding, all for his fucking daughter, who's like 3 years old, to run right up into him. Like, he's standing there like, do you take this man to be your... And then his daughter's just like, Daddy! And I'm like, somebody fucking kill that kid right now. That is $45,000 down the fucking drain. Someone beat that fucking kid to death and take it. Like, I'll kidnap it. I don't care. Someone just open the door and push that fucking kid out.
I really hope that you're
somewhere.
never going to have a custody hearing because this audio is going to come back to haunt you. No, they are.
Like that little he didn't do anything. He was just like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, you fucking grow a pair and you go over there and you yank that fucking kid up so hard that it pulls her shoulder fucking out of the socket, and you tell her, Daddy just spent $45,000 on a fucking wedding that he didn't even want to have, and you're sitting here ruining it. You selfish little shit.
Oh God, you could tell that we were raised in a very specific time, can't you? You could tell that both of us have had run-ins with Daddy in the stall of a Pizza Hut before.
Yeah, except the only time that you ever ran into a grown man in a stall in a pizza place was at Comet Ping Pong and Pizza.
That's right. Yeah, the Pizzagate pizza place. That's what. Yeah, because a grown man was tasing me to enlarge my adrenal gland so Hillary Clinton could feast upon it to stay young.
Whoa! He tased you to enlarge your adrenal. Is that what you said?
You ever heard about this? Yeah.
No, that's all. That part of it.
No, that's all part of the... Here, let me Google this. That's all part of the conspiracy. Listen, the dark virility... Okay, I just looked it up. This is from Wired.com. The dark virility of a Hollywood blood harvesting conspiracy. I can't believe you haven't heard this. A centuries-old anti-Semitic myth is spreading freely on far-right corners of social media, suggesting a new digital dark age has arrived. And I'm just going to sift through this. But yeah, no, I believe Alex Jones was a big part of this conspiracy. I know, you have to sit down. I know, it's shocking.
Yeah, well, hang on. Let me hang on to something here. Tell me again.
But no, there's new investigations and all of this. Quote, in February 2019, InfoWars featured a segment on adrenochrome, linking it to the Clinton Foundation via EpiPen manufacturers and to the highly controversial young blood transfusion startup Ambrosia. A month later, adrenochrome documentaries began to emerge on YouTube, followed by many smaller copycat productions, helping form a searchable foundation for the current day conspiracy. So basically, one idiot said it, and then a bunch of idiots made it, which made other idiots go, well, there's videos of it, so it must be true. The recent surge in interest can be traced to March 2020 and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Celebrities posting photos of themselves stuck at home and looking less than camera ready were besieged on social media with accusations that they were suffering from adrenochrome withdrawal. See, in their logic, Jeremy, the shutdowns had stalled the adrenochrome child trafficking supply chain, and they were no longer able to scare these children to make their glands swell up, so when they killed them, they couldn't drink it. And come on, Jeremy, this is on Facebook, bro. Come on,
bro.
Well,
thank God, Donald, we have a president like Donald Trump who's going to be fixing stuff like this and making sure this doesn't happen. Oh wait. Yeah.
Well, I feel really bad that we don't have a president that's going to be retweeting nut job conspiracy theories. So Kentucky independent pro wrestlers can't have some shit to talk about. Goddamn. Not all of them.
Fuck you. Fuck you to the exact person that joke was about. Kiss me right on the tip of my ass. Just right up in my ass. Just spread them, butter them, and just kiss my ass, you fucking lunatic.
A Google search for adrenochrome prompts a knowledge panel, an automatically generated information box sourced from Wikipedia with a description of the compound and some scholarly research. However, the edit history of that Wikipedia article reveals that in the last few months, editors have constantly been removing attempts to add disinformation. On Google Images, viewers are faced with an onslaught of infographics about missing children, doctored images of celebrities and politicians, and instructions for how to find further troves of, quote, evidence. So, if you're wondering why your stepdad is freaking out a little bit more than usual, that might be why.
You know what, man? You know what? Like, I never thought I would say this, but I miss the days of George W. Bush and reptilian shape-shifting humanoid aliens.
Oh, that's passé,
like,
bro. No, that's already been proven.
Like, I never thought I would look back fondly on people like George W. Bush and David Icke. That's the kind of times we're living in right now.
But see, that used to be on the fringes of society. And granted, obviously, a lot of people still don't believe this, but those wacko, nut job, crazy ass conspiracy thing, it used to be on the fringes of society. Those people would openly talk about that bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that if something does happen, it shouldn't be reported on, but I can confidently tell you that Hillary Clinton is not associated with a pizza place in D.C. to tase children and feast on their precious adrenal glands. I will stake my fucking reputation on that right now. But anyway, I'll tell you one guy who's not going to be reading anything about that, at least now, is a brother named Fabio Jefferson Maciel. Lord have mercy. Old newlyweds Fabio Maciel and his new wife, Geza Guimarães, were enjoying their big day at a wedding reception in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Little did they know, however, they would be planning the groom's funeral just hours later. CBS News reported Maciel was dancing with the bridesmaid when he tripped and fell. Apparently, he had placed a beer glass in his pants pocket, which broke and pierced his femoral vein. That's the major artery in your leg. The groom quickly lost blood and died at the hospital. God damn, I tell you what.
Do you see that episode of Law & Order SVU where these two guys, they were shooting these video in a basement? It was like backyard wrestling where they were breaking light tubes and stuff, and they were doing all this backyard hardcore. And it turns out one of the kid winds up dying because he got his femoral artery like severed. Well, it turns out that like the other kid actually severed his femoral artery on purpose because he had just learned about how it only takes you about 20 minutes to bleed out from it. Because it turns out that kid was actually banging a 35-year-old woman who had been in and out of foster care her whole life because she pretended to be, and she looked like she could pass as a 13-year-old girl or a 15-year-old girl.
Well, at least that episode nailed who exactly is involved in professional wrestling, didn't it? And again, we say this as two guys who have been in and around wrestling for years in the past. I didn't look. If it were real, if that SVU episode, if that murder really did go down in real life, it wouldn't be over some chick. First of all, they both would be fucking the same rat talking about it. Nobody would give a shit.
Right.
But secondly, no old brother would have sliced the artery because he didn't get his push or some shit. That motherfucker, we got heat, brother. Goddamn.
No, last year his payoff was a cheeseburger and chili fries. I just got a cheeseburger.
What about old Tina Entwistle DeLeg, huh? Shortly after their wedding, Tina DeLeg and her new husband, Louis DeLeg, began arguing. The groom accused his bride of being romantically interested in his cousin. Are you sure this didn't happen in Kentucky? The couple then went into a bedroom to continue arguing. Later, relatives entered the room after they heard screaming. They found Entwistle DeLeg covered with blood from a stab wound. DeLeg struggled with relatives after falling through a second-story window. He was later charged with second-degree murder. God damn, he went through
if I were ever going to let you know that I was romantically interested in your bride-to-be, you'd want me to do that at the wedding, right?
Rosalind, my bride-to-be, she has decided that, you know that part that's in every movie where they go, okay, speak now
the
or
part
forever
they never
hold your...
really do.
Yeah, Rosalind took it out, and I said, why the fuck not? Because here's my, and again, this is all her wedding. She came up with all the stuff. She's taking credit for it because I had some ideas. My idea was maybe for you to pop up, you know, when they say that shit, and then we start running spots. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
I mean,
for sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then I start screaming at you, and you scream at me, and then, one of us takes a bump into the cake. Look, give them a show. Give my grandma a show. But no,
for fuck's sake, you're making me drive an hour and a half to it. You better give me a show. Listen, man, what's the over-under on fucked up shit happening at your wedding? Like, your family, like, do you have that backwoods family that we always talk about? The very real, but very backwoods family coming? Like, do you have that Eastern Kentucky family coming? And what's the over-under on something like, like grandma's going to fake pass out on the floor and your uncle's going to be fucking drunk and he's going to shit on the cake?
Well, no, I don't think it's going to happen because I know everybody in my family is going to be packing heat. You know how, like, nobody has dropped an atomic bomb since the 40s because a lot of countries have it? You know what I mean? So it's and honestly, nothing could be as bad as what happened to old Nariza Fohas. Bride-to-be, I guarantee that's how you pronounce her name, I'm sure. Bride-to-be Nariza Fohas and 4 of her friends died after becoming trapped in a limousine that caught fire on the San Mateo Bridge in San Francisco, California. The cause of the fire is believed to be the failure of the air suspension system.
Hey, do you remember the bridge where they shot True Lies? That part where the bridge blew? Like that's the way it is. Like the San Mateo goes across the bay. It's real weird.
How dare you bring up True Lies, which obviously inserts Jamie Lee Curtis's sexy body in my head. Now I'm not going to be able to focus on anything else. And the thing is, Jamie Lee Curtis, you know what the rumor was about her, right? As a kid growing up.
She was a man.
You heard it. She was a man. Exactly right. So even as a kid, I believed it.
Wait, it's very important to point out that we've never talked about that. Like we've never discussed that before. Like I actually heard that growing up too.
Well, no, I mean to the point where, and again, I felt like a Trump voter because I just believed it. I didn't question it. I didn't. And I'm not to, shit talk all the Trump voters out there. I'm just saying that some of them, believe crazy, stupid bullshit, right? So when I was a kid, I just thought that she had a dick. And I remember watching that scene in True Lies where she's like dancing on Arnold and shit. And I'm just like, I mean, am I into this? Like, is this maybe...
You learned a lot about yourself that summer, didn't you? That damn James Cameron, man, he's just never done teaching his lessons, is he?
Now I can only jack off to dudes who look like Jamie Lee Curtis. Gladys Rickhart.
I'm willing to bet there are more men that look like Jamie Lee Curtis than there are women that look like Jamie Lee Curtis.
I see someone's been to a Subaru dealership recently. Gladys Reichardt's ex-boyfriend, Austin Garcia, was accused of using her wedding day as an opportunity for revenge. The bride was taking pictures with her friends and her family in her home, and then it was reported that Garcia arrived and shot her 3 times. He originally said the shooting was an accident. Oh, yeah, sure it was. During the trial, the court found that Garcia had the gun in his briefcase and retrieved it before entering his ex-girlfriend's home. Did it really take a trial to tell us this? Like when you show up to your ex-girlfriend's house on her wedding day.
Man, you know how when you point a gun at somebody and you know how like when it's got bullets in it and you squeeze the trigger and you know how that person accidentally gets shot in the face? Well, that's what happened.
3 times? 3 times. Kelly Ecker and George Scott Sampson. I like that's a strong goddamn George Scott Sampson.
Yeah.
Kelly and old George Scott Sampson were married in Terre Haute, Indiana, which has got to be the most boring town I've ever been to. It was reported that some wedding guests noticed tension between the couple after they exchanged vows. After the wedding and the reception, the newlyweds invited members of the bridal party back to their home, and shortly after the guests left, Sampson beat her to death. He also shot her multiple times. Sampson then shot and killed himself. God damn. Do you think the father of the bride at that point tries to get the money back on the wedding? Is there like a 3-day guarantee? You know what I'm talking about? Like if one or more members of the bridal party are dead, you get I don't know. I'm just, it's kind of like in college.
It sounds like a commercial you would do.
I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
Yes. For sure, dude. For sure.
Well, what was supposed to be a time to take pictures and capture memories, Jeremy, turned into a horrific scene. A large tree fell on a wedding party in California, killing Margarita Marajo, the mother of the bride, and injuring at least 5, reported ABC7 Eyewitness News. Members of the wedding party were taking photos when the tree fell, crushing Marajo and injuring a 4-year-old girl. Man, there's nothing worse than when you get photobombed by a tree. Goddamn, don't you hate that? That had to be so fucking awkward. What about Gabriel Spiva? The bride-to-be, Brandolyn Spiva, told the news that she was so excited about her wedding that she couldn't sleep. However, the day of the wedding, Spiva got a call that she would never forget. The news was about her fiancé, Gabriel, who attended his bachelor party the night before. Unfortunately, he got into a motorcycle accident and was killed the morning of the wedding. The couple had been together for 17 years and had 2 children together.
Oh,
now,
he faked his death. He faked his fucking death. He went out and got shit-faced and was like, man, this could be my life every night, or I can go marry this woman who I've already fucking have kids. The whole bachelor party got drunk and they all went and broke into like a morgue and stole him a body to use in its place. And
it felt like it was like a black guy. Nobody ever. Oh, sure.
It was like the craziest weekend at Bernie's you've ever seen.
You know, I am inclined to agree with you, and I wouldn't have been until I saw at the very end of it the fact the couple had been together for 17 years and had 2 children together. How ironic is it that you know that he was the one, because it's always the man, he was the one who waited forever to pull the trigger, and his family members were like, bro, you've been with her for almost 20 years, man. Just marry her. What's the worst that could happen? And then he got killed.
Yeah, that would be the worst that could happen for sure.
Arguably marrying the chick with the 2 kids is a little bit worse than that. I kid. What about Renata Alexander Costa Coelho? And I'm fairly certain that was a James Bond villain in the 70s. Bride Coelho was supposed to have had the happiest day of her life, Jeremy. Instead, she was met with tragedy. Her new husband, Rogerio Damasca, announced that he had a surprise for his wedding guests. Then he proceeded to shoot and kill his wife, his best man, and himself. Wow.
Surprise!
Good Lord. Fox News reports investigators believe the murder was premeditated. No!
That's a guy who is scared of commitment. I mean, I know women are always saying that about men, but I think this time they nailed it. I think that's one.
I'm only
sure.
about 90% sure that I won't do the same thing.
Right.
Let's be honest. I mean, because you're
that's
going
why
to be
I already planned to arrive like 10 minutes late just to make sure I get there after the bullets. Like I want to get there after the cops have you fucking pinned down. Like in a corner somewhere, and you're shooting with one arm over time. Like I want to make sure.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get there late.
I'm gonna go out like John Wilkes Booth. That's right. they're gonna set a barn on fire. Yeah, you're gonna hope that you get there, and by the time the fire trucks arrive, so you know that you have some safety. I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. Oh my God. He had a surprise for the wedding guests. A hammy motherfucker. He had to get one last joke out of there, didn't he? Look at all these goddamn foreign ass names. Rosemero Silva Nascimento. We're going to call her Nas. Nas wanted to surprise her future husband with a grand entrance. Her plan included arriving at the wedding site in a helicopter. Wow, so this bitch was Ric Flair at Starrcade 85. However, the bride...
No, I prefer Lex Luger when he slammed Yokozuna.
Oh, yeah, on the Intrepid, yeah. However, the bride never made it to her wedding. Things went terribly wrong after the helicopter crashed, killing her instantly. Her brother, the wedding photographer, who was also 6 months pregnant, and the pilot were also killed. The groom was told about the death while he was waiting for her at the altar. Christ almighty! Oh my God. All right. Hold on. We're going to go to our emergency story. November 9th, Jeremy. This just came across the wire. And by the wire, I mean Fark.com. A rather attractive 38-year-old woman has been busted again for lewd activity. For the second time in recent weeks, a Florida woman has been arrested for pleasuring herself in public. This time outside of a Popeye's chicken at 10 in the morning. All right. Vanessa Lee Jones. And if you've seen the picture of this bitch, she looks like her middle name.
What would you do for a 2-piece and a biscuit?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the Klondike bar. That motherfucker melted up there a long time ago. Vanessa Lee Jones was collared Saturday morning after a witness reported spotting her masturbating near a dumpster outside the chicken joint. God.
What do you think they do with a woman like that? Like, does she become a registered sex? Because if it were a man, right, he would be a registered sex offender, would he not?
Oh, dude, no, if it were a man, he'd be in jail for 3 years. This woman was probably promoted to manager of the restaurant. Jones was fully nude at the time. When police officers responded to the scene, officers also witnessed the defendant masturbating in front of the dumpster completely naked. She was observed on security cameras, also masturbating. God, she masturbated for a long time. She was arrested for exposure of her sexual organs, and she was slapped with a huge $150 bond. She was also arrested on September 30th after allegedly exposing herself and masturbating at a 7-Eleven down the street. She, quote, continuously rubbed her vagina. Well, thank you for explaining what masturbation was. I appreciate that.
We were a bit murky on that. Like, I wonder, what is she mentally fucking ill, or is she like, is this part of like what gets her going? Like, she likes to put on is she voyeuristic? Like, does it explain this? Like, is she nuts?
Well, I mean, I don't think it says that she's, quote, nuts. I love how you had a little bit of a You approached it sensitively at first. You were like, oh, is she mentally ill? And then like within 30 seconds, you were like, she's nuttier than a shithouse squirrel.
Well, I'm curious. No. Like they never give you all the details you really need. Like a lot of these news articles, man, they pose more questions than they actually fucking answer.
I think you could assume the bitch is crazy. I love how you ask me if she's nuts, and she's been arrested twice in 2 weeks for getting naked at a 7-Eleven and Popeyes and flicking her bean.
Hey, look, like, man, look, man. I once dated a girl who was totally into the idea of having sex with a cadaver, and she gets to be free in society and have a job and a life, and you never know. Like, you never know. I mean, some people, you know, who am I to say? If a woman was to come up to me after I pulled through the fucking drive-through and she started masturbating, like, I'm not going to get angry about it. I'm not going to assume she's nuts. I just want to know where her headspace is, because I care about that kind of stuff.
Well, haven't you gotten a whiff of that goddamn chicken sandwich and pulled your pecker out? I mean, she probably did the same thing, bro.
That's a good point. Yeah, dude, I've been that hungry. And moreover, I've been that hungry for Popeye's chicken.
Did you get a sponsorship that I don't know about? I've been hungry for the affordable Popeye's chicken sandwich. Now back for a limited time at participating restaurants. Price is different in Hawaii and Alaska. What's going on here, man? Come on.
Oh, trust me, man. If I were getting any sort of endorsements or sponsorships on this show, I would be so much better about sliding. Like, you wouldn't know. I'd make sure you never saw a penny for that.
Yeah, I'm sure. You'd slide it in like the pinky in the asshole after 6 drinks, wouldn't you?
Or that, actually, I would pull you aside and say, look, man, the show's been offered a sponsorship. I was going to keep it from you, but I'll tell you what. Tell me I don't have to come to your wedding this weekend, and we'll call it even. I'll let you in on this sponsorship.
Yeah, you would. They would come to you and they'd be like, hey, man, we would love for you and Kyle to get this sponsorship split at 50-50. And then you come to me and be like, bro, they just want me. So I'm going to try to say something to them. I don't know how the fuck this works.
That's like the every single movie ever made about a band getting signed. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, it is.
That's like the No Doubt Don't Speak video.
What about this, Jeremy? Maria... Oh, God, all these goddamn names. After Maria Pantazopoulos was married, it is reported that she decided to do a light-hearted photo shoot. Well, that's nice. Often referred to by wedding photographers as a trash the dress session. This is where brides intentionally ruin their dress for fun. Oh, fuck you. That is the goddamn worst white woman thing I have ever fucking... Are you serious? These dresses are so fucking expensive, man. So many of these family members pass a wedding dress down, not only for the history of the actual dress, but because they're so expensive. So the fact that this, I'm glad she died. Let's see what happened to her. Sadly, that photo shoot did not end well. It's reported that the bride was standing on a rock when she slipped and lost her balance. She fell into the Oriole River, plunging 60 feet to her death. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
How bad do you feel right now?
I don't feel bad at all. I tell you who I feel good for is her fucking husband. He talking about dodging a bullet. Jesus Christ. So this woman, not only did she trash her dress, but she did so precariously on the edge of a ravine. Where's the tragedy here?
Yeah, wasn't this supposed to be called Wedding Tragedies?
Michael Zagula performed the ceremony at his daughter's wedding. The pilot then stepped out to perform a surprise flyover at his daughter's wedding reception. Oh,
I see where this is going.
How's this going to end? According to Alaska State Troopers, Zagula was flying over the area of his daughter's wedding when he hit a tree. That's awful. It's awful.
Fucking horrible.
You know what I think it was? I think that he promised to cover the wedding. And then that day when he saw how expensive all that shit was, he was like, I'm out. And they were like, Dad can't even fly a plane. What's he doing?
Oh, so what crazy thing are you having at your wedding? I know there's going to be one, right? You're going to do one crazy thing?
I don't know. What do you mean? I mean, you mean am I going to crash an airplane and do a tree? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, how fucking vanilla mayonnaise is this wedding going to be? Is there going to be something wild? Is there a bartender who lights drinks on fire and goes, oh, and everybody claps and stuff, and then you guys drink like a flaming mo or something? And
you're thinking of a hibachi restaurant. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking of. You're gonna have that guy that shoots sake into your mouth, and he throws
makes an onion volcano. Shrimp. Tell me there's going to be an onion volcano at this fucking wedding.
Let me tell you right now. If this were up to me, there would be a hibachi man with volcanoes, but because of my old lady, none of that. No, we're not going to have hibachi men or wrestling spots or anything fun. It's just going to be love and tenderness, all that gay shit. Well, right. What about this, Jeremy? Jeremy, killing one's new wife through careless driving right after the wedding reception is a hard start for the rest of your life. Ryan Quinton of Georgia made this terrible mistake, and he faced the full brunt of the legal system in addition to personal tragedy. 25-year-old newlywed bride Kelly Dobson of Georgia was killed while leaving her reception when her husband lost control of his Pontiac Firebird sports car. I'm sorry.
Oh God, that. Oh no, wait, no, that was a Trans Am.
Yeah, no. This was here I go again on my
own. Was it Tawny Katan? Was she on the hood of it?
That might have been. He might have drank so much at the wedding he saw the bitch, and apparently that's what happened because the car flipped when he allegedly swerved to avoid a dog. But the prosecution did not buy his story, and he was charged with driving under the influence, laying drags, reckless driving, vehicular homicide, and weaving on the road. So it looks like old brother in the Pontiac was drag racing with the bride-to-be, and just like in Back to the Future 3 with needles and that whole shit, it didn't shake out well for him.
Did you know that my dad is so old fogey rock and roll that they actually played "Here I Go Again" at his funeral?
That is the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It was.
Are you serious about that?
Absolutely. It was awesome.
My mom wants Freebird to be played at her funeral. And
it's going to be the longest fucking funeral ever.
That's what I told her. That song is like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's her wish, so I'm sure that we're going to do it. But I mean, tell me that's not going to be the smoke break song. Do you know what I'm talking about? All right, here we go. We got 15 minutes, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, Jeremy, few things are as rare as getting hit in the head by a boat.
That's an accurate statement, I think.
I didn't write this. This is top10s.net. Few things are as rare as getting hit in the head by a boat. Well, thank you. And such tragedy led to Hans Adrian Campbell. Oh my God, how German, Aryan, and sexy was he? His wedding day and the day of his death being the same date. In a bizarre sequence of events, the Texas police officer groom was hit on the head by a speedboat while driving in the Philippines with his soon-to-be wife. Scheduled to be married the following day, which was also Campbell's birthday. Jesus Christ, to talk about the bad luck. Campbell and him went driving just before the big day, but disaster struck when a speedboat wrongfully entered the supposedly safe driving area and smashed his head as he came up for air. The fatally injured Campbell and his fiancée opted for a tragic pre-mortem wedding, which consisted of a ceremony conducted in the hospital bed the day of the accident, one day ahead of the originally scheduled wedding. I'm sorry, does that count? Does that not scream to you of a gold-digging whore?
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I think you're onto something.
We're still getting married. He can say yes. He can say yes. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, unless she's gonna have this whole fucking, Terry Schiavo sort of thing going on, where like, just keep him alive long enough for him to say yes, and then we'll pull the plug on him.
God, could a week of this show go by without you bringing up Terry Schiavo? I swear to God.
I don't remember ever bringing up Terry Schiavo on an episode of this show. I can't recall ever doing that.
There was a solid goddamn month, I'm not exaggerating, where you brought up Terry Schiavo once, and it got to the point where I was like, he's doing this on purpose to fuck with me.
I don't remember ever doing that.
Yeah, you'd work it in too, man, because we'd be like, man, that Wendy's double with bacon's sure good. And you'd be like, I'll tell you who like that was Terry Schiavo, man. I'd be like,
is that what you call working on it? Like that was my brilliant segue into that. That's how I linked those two. Like,
well, let's be honest, you're no Kyle Fields. I mean, I think that we all fucking know that.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, hopefully, Jeremy, none of those tragedies are going to be happening to me on my wedding day. Thank you so much for checking us out. Obtuseangles.libsyn.com. That's the website to go to. Apologies, this episode a little bit shorter than usual this week. We had to get a lot of these in, man. And we had to record a few because the wedding's going to happen. We're going to be doing a little bit of the honeymoon. We are redneck white trash, so it's going to be Gatlinburg, obviously. Probably going to have our big dinner at the Dixie Stampede. That's the place where we met. That's the place where we met. Rosalind was training a bear. And I'm just going to tell people that.
You guys are going to go out and have a nice dinner and then maybe catch a timeshare presentation.
I cannot wait to get a 1-bedroom in Flint, Michigan. That's going to happen. So, but thank you everyone for checking us out, man. Like I said, episode 300 is on the way. You want to go back and check out those old episodes? Please do. Obtuseangles.libsyn.com. Follow us on Twitter at Obtuse Podcast. Like the Facebook page. Have any questions, concerns, comments, criticisms? Hit us up on social media. I'm at Funnyman Fields. KyleFieldsComedy.com is the website to go to check me out. Also, I've got stupid, ridiculous used car lot commercials that I make. Check those out too. My YouTube channel is called Kyle Fields Commercials. I've also got the other one too. So lots of stuff that we're doing. Jeremiah is going to be drawing some pictures for you. He takes commissions, makes some extra scratch that way. Don't tell the tax man though. It is all under the table. Wink, wink. And we are going to be back next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see you. Jeremy, tell him bye-bye.
Bye-bye.